baby gorillas? And are we live? Come on. Are we live? Come on. Am I talking here, or am I just talking to myself?
Oh, hello, baby gorillas.
I'm talking. Aloha. How is everybody? Good to see you. Pop the chat, as always. Let's have a wee chat about this. Oh, my goodness. And I just want to say that I'm usually bang on the money, so let's go bang straight into this before we get into the SNP.
Looking at social media.
Can't hardly hear this.
Looking at social media, the sigh of relief. America felt as if it was, just taking a breath again. Justice has been done.
So Nicola Sturgeon had already decided that this was justice, did she? It didn't look. It looked like there was plausible doubt there in the actual case. I think this is mob mentality, pressurised to the mob. Obviously, wee Nippy is a shill for the mob as well. She's a Marxist, as we see her standing in front of BLM, which is a Marxist organisation. Not that Black Lives Don't Matter, but BLM is an organisation that wee Nippy, as I said, as an intersexual, lesbian, feminist Marxist herself, seems to think it's acceptable.
That is something people across the world should welcome. But there's a long way to go, not just in America, perhaps in many respects, particularly there, but right across the world in all of our countries, including here in Scotland.
Well, you've got racists now like Humza Useless and Sawa advocating against white people. I think they are the racists. So, but you seem to find that acceptable, Nippy, don't you? I guess having no children, you've not really got a shoe in the game.
Systemic racism, and that is a
systemic structural racism. This is a country that's 98% white. I understand that your importation of people to actually take away opportunities from the indigenous population, that you might see that as structural racism, but is it racism to replace a population and to have policies that actually adversely affect them, like killing people who are drug addicts by failing to put in policies to actually help them to get off their dependency? Is it a failure? Is it racist? And is it against your own population to take people with COVID and put them in care homes to kill off older people? It seems like that you've got an agenda and it's against the Scottish people. That's probably why you said you're not a nationalist. You're a gimp as well. You, like Sawa, are a couple of gimps.
All of us need to step up and be prepared to confront.
I think the only thing that needs to happen is you need to go. I think that's the underlying issue. So let's go for the SNP Manifesto. Oh, here it is, guys. Let's be having it. What are you guys saying? Are you saying anything to me? Hiya, Flambo, like that. Jimmy, how you doing? Hiya, bud. Race baiting again by wee Nippy and Humza. Yeah, that's exactly it. They're the racists. I mean, they were calling me a racist. I don't believe in race. They're the racists. They're the ones that are advocating always going on about race this, race that. They're the racists. That's it. If I was in power, it would be done on ability of the individual, not on the race baiting that wee Nippy's got. But wee Nippy's a Marxist, so we've got to understand that this is her raison d'etre. Oh, that's good. Did that just come from number one? Oh, look at that. That's great. Wonder if we can make this bigger. Oh, here we go. It's going to be a long podcast again. So, stage one. Oh, that's great. A bold, ambitious policy programme to kickstart and drive the economy after wrecking it by keeping us all in our houses and destroying businesses. Oh, you're so clever, wee Nippy. Oh, absolute genius. The last year has been the hardest most of us have ever experienced because of you. COVID pandemic has robbed too many families of their loved ones because of Nicola Sturgeon's policies. Oh, that's very clever, isn't it? Thousands of people across Scotland has suffered severe and in many cases long-lasting illnesses. I believe some inferences that was put on the COVID vaccine. I'm not a big I don't know much about the COVID vaccine, but I believe there's been a lot of problems after they've been documented as well. I might come into that later. Families and friends have spent months apart because of you and the SNP. Many of life's basic pleasures, spending time with those we love, socialising in cafes, bars and restaurants have all been closed in gyms because of you. Visiting shops or the cinema, because of you. Even getting a haircut, well, we've all seen you manage to get a haircut, has been taken from us by the Lib Lab Con Party, including the Tories, the Greens and the SNP, because of you as collectively. Young adults have missed out on the rites of passage associated with their first years of freedom. Yeah, because of you. Along with many jobs and businesses and livelihoods have been lost and fundamentally altered because of you. Impact in COVID on our health, well-being and quality of life. It's not impacting me in the slightest. Like swine flu, like bird flu, like any of the other things that have in pandemics have happened. It's not affecting me in the slightest. I don't know of anybody that has COVID, have had COVID and died. Don't know anybody. I'm not saying it's not happened. I'm just saying I don't personally know of anybody that this is affected to make it worthwhile actually destroying the country. Nicola today is more anti-English patter. Yes, yeah, I mean it is, and I think that even from Alex Salmond, I think it is anti-English patter as well. I do agree. I think that very cringy advert from the Alba Party, not looking to the forward but looking back. What's Scotland's future going to be like? They're too busy looking back to the past, and obviously wee Nippy's looking to Marx as her ideological inspiration, which is really embarrassing. I don't know if wee Nippy did history that 100 million people have died under Marxism even, and they had to change it under postmodernist Marxism, which she seems to be advocating for, although she's never publicly said it. But we can all read through the lines, can't we? All of those that understand history and political history. Over the last year, though, we have been reminded of what really matters: health, family, community and security, all of which have been undermined by an alleged lesbian postmodernist Marxist. So many people have played a part in getting us through, and I suspect many of us discover a resilience we did not even know we had. Yeah, the resilience is listening to you and actually seeing your coupon on the face, your face on the screen every day, saying, "Oh, there's been more deaths. Oh, there's been more deaths." How encouraging you have been. It's been great. Are you going to do this through the next flu pandemic, or are you just going to? Is this just a one-off? Are we going to hear this every time that there's problems in the health service? Are you going to make a diatribe of, "Oh, this is bad. People are dying"? Frontline workers in their health and care services obviously fall into this category, but so do many others who have gone to work every day to deliver other lifeline services, and all these have had to adapt to work from home or often homeschooled children at the same time. That must have been hellish for a lot of people. Although the good thing is their children wouldn't be getting indoctrinated by the anti-white anti-racist propaganda that you seem to be wanting to push out. We would not have coped either with thousands who volunteered their help, delivering food and essentials to those shielding or even just checking up on vulnerable friends and neighbours. We have all discovered this last year how much we rely on each other. Well, we don't rely on you. You've been a disaster. Our scientists have also developed and delivered vaccines faster than we could have dared hope. The debt of gratitude we owe to them is incalculable. Yeah, which have not actually passed, as far as I'm aware, any drug, the actual drug passing, whatever it is, to pass drugs through to actually allow them to be used. And they're also now not liable if there's any problems with it. Our scientists have also developed and delivered vaccines faster than we could have dared hope. The debt of gratitude we owe to them is incalculable. So we now, all but tentatively, start to look beyond the acute phase of COVID towards the individual and collective recovery. The value that has guided us so far, love, compassion, solidarity, should continue to light our path. That all has mattered to me as your First Minister, has been doing my level best each and every day to steer us through the crisis. Yeah, I would have preferred you didn't do anything. That would have probably been better. That would have probably been better for everybody if you just hadn't bothered. I knew I had I made mistakes along the way. As far as I can see, looking back in your track record, you've been making mistakes from day one. It's been one mistake after another, and then just saying, oh, I made a mistake, I'm really sorry. You're not competent. You're just not competent. You're not a competent politician. You're inept. You are an inept politician. The people around you are inept as well. So it's not just you. You've got a whole series of inept individuals. Do you like the voice? That voice. Jimmy Cranky is a nut job and she's a liar. Yes, yes. Anti-English, a big boy did it and ran away. That's it. And the Tories are naughty, naughty boys. Well, the Tories earn much better, Theresa, to be brutally honest. Sturgeon should be a judge answering crimes against humanity. Yes, good indeed. Indeed, a nice way to start the manifesto. List many of the reasons why we shouldn't vote for you. Yes. Oh, Nicola's goal is to sell us to the EU and the globalists. Of course it is. Well, that's fantastic. For all the reasons, this election really doesn't matter, possibly more than any other in our lifetimes. Yeah, don't vote for the Lib Lad Con Party. Don't vote for the Greens. Don't vote for the SNP. That's where you go. Vote for UK Reform Party. Vote for Scottish Libertarian Party. Let's kickstart and get these monkeys out of Parliament. At this time of crisis, more than ever, the country needs a steady and experienced hand at the wheel. That's not you then, is it, Nippy? If I am re-elected, oh Jesus, another 4 years of this clown. As First Minister, I promise that I and my government will set more people up for false sexual allegations and will get them covered up by our judiciary, which is very fair and honest. As we have over the past year, we'll focus all of our energies on steering the country safely through out of this crisis. I think you could just, if you vote for the Scottish Libertarian Party, this crisis will go away. So we won't be locked in our houses and we'll all get back to work. So that vote Scottish Libertarian Party or the UK Reform Party, they will stop all this nonsense. I can provide a steady and experienced leadership of getting people killed in care homes, of getting people killed through your hospital that was designed in Edinburgh, children getting killed, for getting people who've got drug addiction problems getting killed. You're really good. Well done. If it is about recovery and building a fairer country, fairer for who? Who's it fairer for? Is it fairer for you? You've not even produced any kids. If women look to you as an example, where we'll be dying out, as your only policy to actually do people replacement through the open the border situation, which you've already alluded to, that's what you want. Who's it fairer for, Nippy? This is certainly not a nationalist, as you pointed out. This is why SNP is presenting at the local election transformational policy programme that will drive recovery. policies protecting the NHS. The NHS doesn't grow the economy. The NHS is secondary and relies on a strong economy to actually survive, because it's getting paid like you, and for your mortgage getting paid by the taxpayer. And establish a new care service. Oh, great. Yeah, we know what you do with the care service. You get people killed, you idiot. Policies provide opportunities for young people. Lock them in the house, get them home taught. If not, bring in anti-white racist agenda. You and me Moby, the wee gay gimp. Building a stronger, more sustainable economy and delivering greater job and income security, and our policies to tackle climate change and end child poverty. You haven't ended child poverty. You've actually probably made child poverty worse in Scotland because of your destruction of the private sector. Don't worry, we'll bring in Marxism. It'll be great. It's always worked before. Idiot. We offer an approach and choice for you that will make us equal partners with our friends in the rest of the UK and across Europe. See me making anti-English things. I don't think the English are too keen on this, or too keen on you as a political entity, because it seems anti-English. There's all very well being nationalistic, but you don't have to be anti-English. I understand more than most, with my family going back to as further back than Bannockburn, and certainly our clan being here for one of the longest. We can trace our family back for centuries here, and we certainly know what's happening with the clan being on the whiskey bottles, so we know exactly what's happened in Scotland. But there's no reason in this day and age to be anti-English. But it seems like the BLM stuff that you seem to be simping for as well, that Marxist agenda, that's part of your ideology, wee nippy, although you've not said it. This is why we've got really bad journalists, and you can't even ask, are you a Marxist? And that's what at least one of the plethora of journalists should have asked. We are seeking your permission to kill more of your family members by our incompetence. At this election for an independence referendum to be held after COVID. So we've got the transformation due to Brexit. We've just destroyed our economy, and we're going to have an independence referendum. We are obviously, I don't think any of your party are competent to actually run an independent Scotland, to be brutally honest with you. I think it's a bunch of dum-dums. When the crisis is past, but in time for us to equip our Parliament with powers needed to drive for our long-term recovery from COVID. Oh yes. We didn't have to do that. We could have just socially distanced and continued with our lives. That's what could have happened. About tasks, rebuilding your country, rebuilding the SNP destroyed, and therefore the fundamental question that all of us in Scotland must ask ourselves is, why the hell would we vote for the SNP? That's the question. What did I say there? As we set about the task of rebuilding our country, there is a fundamental question that all of us in Scotland must ask ourselves. The answer to this question will define our country's destiny, and find out if we're going to become a Marxist backward country, and determine the life changes of this and generations to come. Want to be in the driving seat of shaping Scotland's future, not you. Who should it be the Scottish governments or whatever party elected by the Scottish people with the priorities and the heart. Another political oxymoron. What are you guys saying? Independence gets utterly surrendered back to the EU. Yeah, that's it. I hate the politicians keep saying when the crisis has passed, even when it has passed anyway, the people want a corona bureaucracy to follow. Yeah, that's a very good point there. Pro Jake fan. I want to see a DNR notice slapped on her and her party. I don't know what a DNR is, Teresa. That sounds interesting. I see she's refused to take part in the BBC Question Time. Yeah, because nobody's tuning into it. 5 useless politicians. What a little shitbag about maybe she has seen some polls Big Angus doesn't want us to see. Interesting. We will, the people of Scotland, will we, the people of Scotland, place trust in ourselves? Yeah, in ourselves, not in you. Or will we leave the future in the hands of Westminster system? I don't really see much difference between you and Bojo on a policy basis. I understand the unionist and independence policies, but Bojo locked everybody in his houses. You've locked everybody in the houses. You've done X. He's done X. You've actually been like a Tory light, even though you're a wee Marxist, allegedly. In the depth of the crisis, we have looked and trusted our own government and Parliament to steer. Yeah, you've done a terrible job, and we should do the same now, as we look to rebuild for the long term. No, we have a democracy. We don't have to vote for these clowns. We don't have to vote for them. When you go into the ballot, don't put the X with the clowns. No voting clowns. If we want to make sure the country was rebuilt as the one we want to be, with kindness, compassion, fairness, give us half your money, wee nippy, if you want fairness. Or you're just full of it, aren't you? That's just words, doesn't mean anything. And enterprise. You have destroyed the Scottish economy with your absolute nonsense. And it's at its heart. And then we will make work to the right plan with all the tools we need to do the job. In summary, what I want and the SNP offer you at the next election: a safe and steady and experienced hand. It's done terrible job. Terrible. Absolutely useless. I voted for you. Terrible job. I was hoping to see what you could do, and you've been incompetent. We'll continue to steer the country through and out of the unprecedented crisis we face. A bold and ambitious plan to kickstart and drive the economy. Now, I covered last night about the economy, and obviously listening to Sir Tom Hunter, which a lot of the stuff I would implement. One of the major things that I don't disagreed with Sir Tom on, or Sir Tom's group, is that I would have said that we need more money going to stage 1, stage 2 startup companies. It's them that will get the growth as long as it's done properly. But we nippy, as all of our let's get the ships to, I don't know where they were transferring from point A to point B somewhere in Scotland, which haven't even been delivered. Everything that Nicola Sturgeon has done has been a disaster. Hospitals in Edinburgh not built. Andrew Neil's already covered this. Care home deaths. Everything she's done has been a disaster. And kickstart and drive the economy, and choice of a better, fairer and more prosperous future to our country. You've just destroyed it. Let's build the future together. Thanks, wee nippy. That's great. Hope. Hope. Disaster, I should say. Disaster. Merging into only an excuse, Chick Young. Patrick Harvey, he's a short plank. Is that rhyming slang? I don't know where I can actually get somebody else to do this. This is quite long. Only an excuse. Oh, here we go. There's more. We're up to page 5, thank God. Right, here we go. Increase NHS frontline spending by at least 20%. How can you increase it if you're... Oh, is that all the money that's been taken? Is that going to grow the economy, nippy? Just so we know, is funding the NHS going to grow the economy? I'm not saying the NHS is not useful and viable and not something we should be protecting. But is that going to grow the economy? No. Create a national care service. I don't know what a national care service is. Don't have a clue. Don't know, nothing specific there as a voter for me to actually find out what the National Care Service. Let's actually Google it, because I don't know what the National Care Service is. Yeah, you're not alone. So it's help for the disabled and the mentally ill. So, okay. So they're going to increase that by 25%. Is that going to grow the economy? Growing the economy. Double the Scottish children payment to £20 per week. So they're going to take money off you to give you it back. So rather than just cutting taxes, so you don't have to, they don't have to set up apparatus to redistribute wealth or redistribute this. Why don't they just cut the taxes instead of setting up government bureaucracy that is a total waste of time? Just cut taxes to lift thousands of families and children out of poverty. So £20 per week is going to lift children out of poverty? I don't think it will. And provide grant care of £520 for every family and child in receipt of free school meals until rollout of the Scottish Child Payment complete. Okay, at least they're doing something for children, at least here. Why is the state building houses? That's what I want to know. Deliver 100,000 affordable homes by 2030. Why are we not getting the right to buy these homes? Why does the state have to be not only the builder but also the landlord? I can point to hundreds of examples of sink estates all over Scotland with your affordable homes bullshit that the socialists have done for years, and it's never worked. It's never worked. It's always led to poverty, and it perpetuates the poverty, backed by investment of £3.5 billion over the sorry for the background noise, the Parliament supporting 14,000 jobs a year. Oh, that's great. Shut up. But that's not going to build the economy either, is it? That's like all of these are all secondary points. This is nothing here so far is anything that's going to build our Scottish economy. Jobs, lift kids out of poverty. Yeah, that's right. And entrepreneurship. That's right. Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin. This sounds like an opposition manifesto. Yeah, it's just a Labour light, isn't it? Choose Scotland's future in an independence referendum after the COVID crisis. When does the COVID crisis end? Wait, what is the end date of the COVID crisis? Invest. I know as an entrepreneur, I've not received a dime from the state, not one penny from the state to actually help me with any of the businesses. And I've got umpteen businesses that are all registered, some been registered pre the COVID. Not one penny have I got from. Who's the Chancellor? Rishi. Not one penny. Invested in a further £1 billion over the next Parliament to close the schools attainment gap and recruit 3,500 teachers and classroom assistants. Not one mention of the fact that they're still abusing children with specific learning difficulties in classrooms. They still don't identify the majority of children with specific learning difficulties that are in the Scottish education system. Maybe they want to do that. Maybe that's an idea. But again, this is all secondary. This is nothing here in itself is going to build the economy. Provide free school breakfasts. So we're going to take the money from the parents, set up a way of taking money from the individuals to provide breakfast that the children may have already had. What's the point in that? That's just another complete waste of taxpayers' money. Lunches in every primary school, and I believe that a lot of these lunches and breakfasts are horrible as well. So they don't hold the nutritional values. Your children are not being given so much protein, so much carbohydrates in the meals. It should be staggered every 2 hours throughout the day. that increases your children's metabolism, and it will reduce the fat, people who are overweight and obese, children who are obese, by doing that. So there should be gaps every 2 hours for children to eat, and then obviously any spare time after that, and it should be calorie counted so that each child is getting the same sort of calories. Some may require, if they're bigger, more calories than others, mind you. It should be done on size and what these children look like physically. I mean height. These children may require more calories, and it should be counted based on the size, not obviously the fatness of the person, because obviously you want to reduce the fat and make them healthier. Freezing income tax rates and bans and increased thresholds to maximise of inflation. Freeze income tax rates and bans and increase thresholds by a maximum of inflation. I suggest we want to reduce taxation to the lowest we could potentially do, especially for companies. We have to compete with Ireland. Ireland have done very well in attracting inward investment from foreign companies, but I think we want to stimulate our own Scottish companies. You're meant to be a nationalist party, and you can't even stimulate Scottish entrepreneurs. Useless, absolutely useless. Give a fair and pay rise of NHS, offering 4% increase on average, not the Tories 1% offered by the Tories. That's not going to grow the economy either. Not going to grow the economy. No, so far I'm nearly finished this waffle, and not one of your policies so far is going to grow the economy. All of these, everything that's happened here is secondary, not primary economic growth indicators. All of these are taking tax from the taxpayer into whatever your pet project is here. Not one of them is saying, let's spend £1 billion on stage 1, stage 2 entrepreneurs in Scotland. Not one of them here. Useless, absolutely useless. All it is tax and spend. That's all the SNP are. Provide every child in Scotland with advice to get online. Oh my God. Well, I do believe in the computerisation of the classroom, but if children are not being able to get online, I think children are more advanced, but they need access to computers. I totally agree. And also they're safety protected, especially from Muslim paedophiles. Provided every child in Scotland with a device to get online, including a free internet connection and support to use it. So again, every child, so this is not based on whether a family's already got an internet connection. This is internet connections they're going to be given by the state. I certainly don't want that. With a device to get online. Alright, so they're basically bribing the children with a laptop, a free iPad. I believe in giving probably laptops rather than iPads to the children. Deliver a green transport revolution to meet our net zero targets by providing free bikes. But it's not free. This is all money that's getting raised by you taking money from the taxpayer, the hard push taxpayer, and spending it on absolute nonsense projects. I mean, it's just nonsense. Deliver a green transport revolution and providing free bikes for all children of school age who cannot afford them. Okay, well, at least that's means tested. Removing the majority. But are you going to be deciding what bikes to get? Is the children going to be deciding? So you're going to be dictating. Why don't you give a voucher for bikes and let the parents and the children decide what bike they want? Removing the majority of fossil fuel buses from the public transport by 2023, okay, and creating a greener and more affordable railway. Well, it costs an absolute fortune on the railway just now, but okay, fair enough. I would suggest that we're wanting to look for high-speed links between Aberdeen, Dundee, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and if there's a new link down to Dublin and down to Belfast and potentially Dublin, if Bojo is going to do this road and rail tunnel from Scotland to Ireland, which I think is a great idea. I think we need a high-speed rail link rather than what we've got just now. Build a wraparound child care system providing care before and after school all year round, where the least well-off families will pay nothing. Build a wraparound child system providing care before and after school where the least well off. So again, another just a massive spend there as well. Invest over £33 billion over the next 5 years in national infrastructure missions, directly supporting 45,000 jobs and funding a new national infrastructure company. Oh, that's great. I would suggest that the £33 billion, well, I think we should improve the link between Edinburgh and Glasgow, the road link, but I think we should be looking at a high-speed rail link. And I'm not sure, I think there's problems with transportation links to parts of North America and Asia as well. So I think we should be looking at air links as well. Maintain and strengthen Scotland's relationship with our EU partners with views to rejoining as soon as possible. We're going to set up a political party that, if we become a majority, we'll immediately pull out. We won't have a referendum. Scotland, whether it's in the part of the UK or an independent Scotland, will immediately pull out of the EU. If we get a majority of seats, we'll immediately pull out. NL Council recycle old bikes in View Park, do they, mate? The green space in Edinburgh are absolutely abysmal. Emergency services can't get past due to traffic pile-ups, and it's crippling local across access to businesses. My God. Whereabouts green spaces in Edinburgh are absolutely abysmal. Emergency services can't get past due to traffic pile-ups. SNP out. Well, maintain and strengthen Scotland's relationship with three key parties. We've already left, and where there's 38% of Scots who voted to stay out of the EU or get out of the EU, so not one of these five parties represent you or to protect or have a proper immigration policy. So if you voted to have a better immigration policy or to get out of the EU, then you shouldn't be voting for any one of these five parties. Not one of them. And what the media does is restrict your access to allow you to get other opinions, and they then try and keep these other parties small, so you've only got the choice of like five idiots. Bring ScotRail into public ownership, so we're going to waste more money on these vanity projects and decarbonise Scottish rail services. Well, you can decarbonise Scottish rail without bringing it back into public ownership. I don't think ScotRail under private ownership, I think it's probably better than it was under public ownership. I would say it was probably better service, although it's more expensive. Decarbonise the heating of 1 million homes by 2030, which is fair enough. The investment of that 1.6 billion over the next Parliament to tackle the crisis. So none of the policies here is a sell for me. None of them. Not one of them is a sell for me. There's nothing that here is going to make any sort of major difference in my life. Our manifesto, using a self-selection below, you can access our manifesto. Audio, easy read, large print, BSL, Braille, Gaelic, leading Scotland out of the pandemic that the SNP put us into, and the Tories. Democratic nation. I don't think you want to be democratic. You seem to want to silence anybody that's got a different opinion. Our vision, a caring society, an equal society, living better, an economy that works, land of opportunity, yeah, for some maybe, net zero nation, Scotland in the world. All right. Scotland out of this COVID crisis. Our last year, we have all learned about the COVID-19, its impact on our health and society. We begin to rebuild and renew our society and prepare for life after the pandemic. It is essential that we continue to protect ourselves. I don't need you to protect me, and I can protect myself. This nanny state, wee nippy, I want to be everybody's mum, and yet not produce any children, and each other from the spread of the COVID virus. In a government that we have not got everything right, not got anything right. I fail to see what you have got right. If you can point to things, maybe with the exception of reducing CO2 emissions, maybe with that. But nothing else. The SNP have got very, very weak intellectually politicians. In government, we have not got everything right. Yeah, I would say that's correct, not anything. But we have learned from our mistakes. I don't think you have. I genuinely don't think you have. I think the only way you're going to learn from your mistakes, like the Labour Party, is to get kicked out. I think the reason all of these are down the polls, I mean, we've got to remember where the Labour Party were, where the Conservative Party were in Scotland, where the SNP were. All of these parties were dominated at one point or another, from the Tories to the Labour to SNP, dominated Scottish politics. And I would stand corrected if you got anything right. I think the problem has been these parties. We have taken all of our decisions in the interest of saving as many lives as possible. I think you made all your decisions on the globalist agenda. That's what I think. I'm entitled to my opinion. That's what I think. Where do the SNP and the money we get the money from? From you. They get it for you. Laugh out loud at the scrota. Hey, they've even managed to fulfil any commitments of the last manifesto. Yes, Marion, that's right. Just made Scotland worse. Colin Mackay and Sophie Ridge, journalist, absolutely ripped in. Sophie Ridge did very well. Very subtle the way Sophie Ridge, it was almost as if there's a style of boxing called the drunk man. And it was like watching a journalist do the drunk man journalism, because she was very slow and very sort of precise, but she did a good job of it. Sophie Ridge did a good job. She did land some punches, just like Fat Andy. All the government jobs and no private jobs. That's right. You've got to understand that Nippy's a communist. Nippy's moving us towards a greater involvement in the state, greater authoritarianism, and that's right. That's no private jobs. All about the state. Can I be part of your gang and be in the state, please? Or we've got no ability to grow the private sector in this manifesto. Nothing, not one policy there that I listed out is going to grow the private. It may grow some subcontractors, but nothing. It's all going to be wee Nippy and our minions. What can we do with communists now? Let's just get everybody to work for the state. How are you going to grow the economy with that manifesto? I like Sophie Ridge as well. Yeah, I thought Sophie Ridge was competent or journalism there. I don't think she would want to tackle me, but I think she's competent. The first task of the next Scottish Government will be to complete the reopening of our economy that you destroyed. Oh, fantastic. And society will continue to suppress the virus. Oh, you're suppressing it. Nicola's sitting on the virus, isn't she? That is a difficult balancing act. But the SNP has a clear plan. Yeah, I can see it. It's shit. It's shit. I don't know how you want me to describe it. Do you want me to describe it? It's completely shit. It's boring, completely shit, and not going to grow the Scottish economy. That's what your plan is. Shit. Nothing there is going to actually help the Scottish economy. That's a very weak policy platform, if that's it. And will provide the strong leadership Scotland needs. You're not a strong leader, Nippy. You're useless to take the difficult decisions. Yeah, we've seen you taking the difficult decisions, and every one of them seems to be incompetent when you take them. If we all stick with it, no, just vote for somebody else. Scotland, listen, dead simple. See, when you go into the voting booth, Don't vote for the Lib Lab Con Party. Don't vote for the Greens, the SNP. Vote for UK Reform Party. Vote for the Scottish Libertarian Party. They can't be any worse. They can't be any worse. Well, it could be worse, but it's unlikely they're going to be any worse. Don't vote for them. Don't encourage them. I was going to say there was a common theme that people said these politicians are all the same, and they are all the same. These are all globally shill entities that are ideologically and politically nearly coherent. Let's go for something different. Let's go for somewhere different in the political spectrum. These characters do not have a right to be elected time and time again. If we all stick to it, keep following the guidance and keep looking out for each other, we can move through the critical phase of the pandemic and back to a world that feels more normal. Oh, that's great. Useless. Our plan to suppress the virus has 4 key parts. Test and protect. So I'm now, because all of you seem very obedient, anybody that comes into my house, I've got a thermometer which I'm going to rectally insert to make sure that you've not got a high temperature, because all of you seem to like to get bent over and things inserted in your ass. So I have now got a thermometer that I'm going to stick in anybody's ass who comes near me to make sure they've not got a high temperature, because all of you seem to be that obedient that you probably do it. That's my thoughts. Except my baby Gorillas. She sure means finishing off the economy, that's right. It covers up high employment. That's high unemployment, I would say, Zeppelin. High unemployment. The more the state gets involved in providing work, then they don't have to grow the economy. They can be just seen to keep everybody back. Follow the guidance for a whole year and we're still not normal. Go figure. Yeah, exactly. Protective measures we all use day to keep ourselves safe. Oh yeah, I really need you to keep me safe, Nippy. Control importation of the virus. You're letting people walk in from the war-torn country of France. You're letting people just walk into the country. So how are you protecting it from the people coming in, new strains coming in? If people are coming in, just walking in boats, we can see them coming over in boats from France. So how are you doing that? You're actually encouraging them, because you're basically saying, you're on the record for saying we want open, basically de facto open immigration. That's why you're standing in front of a BLM sign when the majority of people are not BLM in Scotland. But I think that's your objective, isn't it? But how's that protecting us from the virus then? If you're allowing anybody to come in, so you're a hypocrite, you're a liar as well. You and that wee Diddy Smith are well suited, aren't you? But the media protects the politicians, not interrogates the politicians. That's when they get somebody like me. They don't want it because they know I know. The vaccination programme, which has given people so much hope. It's given me tons of hope. It's given me that much hope. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it. Then, if they start to do any sort of passports, there'll be wide-scale demonstrations against vaccine passports, and we'll protest outside potentially people's business establishments that are enforcing this. Our test and protect systems is an essential part of the COVID fight against COVID, which is why in Scotland we have made sure it is run by the NHS, not a private company. No, we wouldn't want anything to help the private sector, wouldn't we? Because we're a bunch of commies in the SNP. Really? I don't care if there's private companies in the NHS. If a private company cured cancer, I'm not going to ideologically say, they're a private company. We don't want anything to do with them. It's much better us giving wee Nippy all our money and for her to decide what the NHS has got to do with it. Get stuffed. COVID tests are widely available, are they? That's great. I really feel I have to run out and get a COVID test. We have more than 100 testing locations across the country. That's great. Walk through, drive through, or McDonald's style, except they're nationalised McDonald's. We don't like to have non-nippy prescribed burgers anymore, as long as we Nippy's face is on the burger wrapper. We have got now we've nationalised McDonald's. Pick up and mobile sites, oh great, providing tests for anyone with symptoms, oh fantastic. And for those who do positive tests or who are identified as a contact of people, contact test positively, we have introduced a £500 self-isolation payment for those on low incomes. Is it? Get that then. You have to take a test. Protective measures. Oh, we'll be walking about in those, those football bubbles that we have to actually. We'll all be bouncing off each other. We Nippy will nationally prescribe those football bubbles so that we don't get any germs. We all learned to follow facts. To wear face covers, avoid crowded places, so we're not then able to interact. So we've already got a declining population. So I don't know, are we going to send sperm through the post? How are we going to have children? What's going to happen there? How are we going to meet each other? How would a man and a woman meet each other? I guess Nippy doesn't mind. She seems to be continually followed by young girls. I don't know if that's... there was a picture of her with another girl today. She seems to be continually followed by young women. I don't know if they know how to make any complaints in case the First Minister's up to anything. Clean our hands and surfaces. Keep 2 metres distance. All right. So we've all got to walk about in these illusionary bubbles. Oh, that's really clever. And self-isolate and get tests if we have symptoms. Oh, I don't even know what the symptoms would be. While remembering and doing all of this tests our patients. You test my patients, Nippy. Taking these steps has a big impact on reducing the spread of the virus. Oh, fantastic. That's great. The measures and other proportionate restrictions will continue to be part of our lives for a little while longer, till we Nippy has already got all the postal votes and she's re-elected for another 5 years of her globalist nonsense. And as for our economy, which we Nippy has destroyed, and society opened up the basic protective measures of facts according to Nippy, because even more important to stop the spread. Oh, it must be margarine. Telling us how to live our lives. That's exactly what they're doing. Oh yeah, the facts propaganda. Yeah, exactly. They don't like facts. Laugh at like Davey. That was washing machines doing an impression of Squeaky Surgeon. I know. Shut up. Oh my God. Sorry about the washing machine. I should have put it on earlier. Are you, Nicola? It's not taking either. Talk the vaccine. Yeah, I'm not taking either. Yeah, quite right. Quite right. A vaccine that's not going through the professional medical standards procedure, and we've got to take the vaccine, which has not been struck off. Apparently there's been a number of people who had contraindications after taking it. And there's another strain, it's 99.5 or 99 over 99% survivable. Why do I need a vaccine for that? Where am I? Importations. One of the main challenges in suppressing COVID is to make sure that as we get down to low levels, not imported from other countries. Well, you've just said that we've got an open immigration policy. Anybody that's come here, the Scottish, that was you who said that. That was your words. You're already on the record, out your mouth, that you said anybody come here. So how's that going to fit in with the... levels again. It's not. It's not imported for other countries. It's not important. It's not imported from other countries. So we're not allowed to go out the country, but other people can come into the country who are not asylum seekers. A lot of them, the majority of them, are not asylum seekers. Who the Tories have signed us up to the Barcelona Process, Union of the Mediterranean. Shut up, Nippy! And the UN Compact in Marrakesh. They've already signed us up. This thing's at it, isn't it? That didn't work. SNP, all right, here we go. Of course, this is two-way. We also have a duty not to spread the virus to other countries, right? So we've got an open door immigration into our country, a bit like how you managed to kill off the grannies and the grandpas in the care homes. You didn't manage to actually get any children, people when they had drug dependencies. But we're importing it, but we're not allowed to go out of the country to have a holiday or whatever, in case we get it over there and bring it back in. Is that the case? So it's one rule for one for another. Right. Last summer, through our collective efforts, we nearly eliminated COVID in Scotland. However, it was reintroduced through travel. Was it people coming into Scotland that did it, or was it people going out and coming back in? What was the situation? Do you know? Parts of Europe are currently experiencing a resurgence of the virus, so we must be careful. The SNP government will keep robust travel restrictions. Oh, will it? So we're not allowed out of the country, but people are allowed in it, right? Yeah, no thanks. Screw the SNP, and an SNP government will keep robust restrictions and quarantine measures in place for as long as necessary, and we will continue to press the UK government to close the quarantine loopholes that are allowing new variants to enter the country. Priti Patel's just letting them in through the coast anyway, so that's obviously a lot of nonsense as well. What you're doing is restricting our freedoms, aren't you, Nippy? However, we know that these measures can remain in place permanently. Travel is not just about holidays. For many people in Scotland, it's about seeing family and friends. We recognise that how important that is. Yeah, and we're going to keep the kids' travel restrictions, and we will take steps to open up and support international travel as soon as it's safe to do so. Yeah, we've got a lot of things that are based in Scotland on tourism, and again, wee Nippy's not actually talked about that either, has she? Sorry about the background noise. Vote a unionist party to stop. No, don't vote for the unionist parties either. They're just as bad. What are you going to do to stop the nationalist madness? The unionist parties are just as bad. You need to move away from all of them. Boris is in India, is he? Well, it's all right for some, isn't it? It's not. It's all right for them to do it. It's not all right for you to do it. You'll be a good wee sheeple and do what you're told. It may be coincidental, but who knows? I have know two people who, within a week of receiving the first dose, had minor strokes. What? Vote the party best placed in the constituents to unseat them. No, because all you're going to do is go from one bad political party to another. Don't do that. Go to the UK Reform Party, go for the Scottish Libertarian Party, go out with the five main parties. Don't keep placating these parties. If you're just going from one bad party to another, you're not going to change anything. You need to not vote. It doesn't matter. They're going to probably get back in anyway. That's the reality of what the polls are. You need to move your vote out of the five parties to another type of political party. That's what you need to do. If you're a unionist, go for the UK Reform Party. If you're a nationalist, go for the Scottish Libertarian Party. Stop encouraging these parties. They're all the same. They're all terrible. Well, we'll go through the rest of the rubbish manifestos as well. Can't wait to see Star Wars. Please Islamise Scotland. This is the largest mass vaccinating programme in Scottish history. Hold on. Vaccination. The development of the new vaccine COVID-19 is just a year in just a year has been a huge achievement that has offered many of the renewed hope for the future. Scotland's vaccination programme has targeted the most vulnerable people first, in line with expert advice. We have prioritised those who are the oldest, just like you did with moving the people with the vaccine, with the COVID into the care homes, who worked in care settings, who have health conditions, because we know that saves the most lives. We are on target to complete the first phase of the vaccination programme, offering a first dose to all those people in the most vulnerable groups by mid-April, before moving on to younger groups. This is the largest max vaccination programme in Scottish history for a virus that's 99.5% survivable, and we owe a massive debt of gratitude to all those who have made it possible, for the scientists, manufacturers, healthcare workers, security staff, armed forces, and every member of the public who have rolled up their sleeves. Great. We are already preparing to deliver a programme of bolstering vaccinations later this year. We will continue to follow advice from scientists and clinicians on how to distribute the vaccine in future. We will also work to support vaccine manufacturers in Scotland and support the local supply chain. Learning lessons. The COVID pandemic has been most difficult time in many of our lives because of you. It's been difficult because of you. And the COVID pandemic, we start to look to the future, and it's vital that we learn and reflect on our experiences. Stop voting for socialist parties, left-wing parties. That's the difficulty. We need to have a capitalist society. All these people are being funded by the state, have all got a vested interest in not growing the economy. And it's all going to come unstuck, because you can only take the people's money off them for so long to pay for all these services. That could be wasting taxpayers' money as well. They're not done on they're done on a blanket basis, which means that the cost of them will be higher. To do this, we will commission a statutory person-centred and human rights-based public inquiry into the handling of the coronavirus pandemic. We will make sure the voices of families we have lost loved ones and heard as part of establishing the inquiry that they have achieved. We all know what happens with your inquiries. Redact. It never get anywhere. You just cover up, isn't it? Just make sure we Nippy stays in power. We will make our voices and families we will, and that has achieved role in the process. We will begin to take necessary steps establishing the public inquiry as soon as possible after the election. As part of learning lessons, we will establish a standing committee on pandemics, bringing together scientists and clinicians. Great, that's going to sound like a great bunch, to advise us on future risks and to ensure we are prepared as possible. I don't think we should ever have a lockdown again. I don't think we should ever lock down the country ever again. We may have social distancing in future and other measures, but we should never lock down the country again. Our journey back in the really, it's like putting the fox in charge of the chicken coop. Our journey back in coming weeks, we continue to suppress the virus. Our lives will all become a bit more normal, with more of our economy and society opening up. This will include travel across Scotland. Fantastic! That's good of you. Not allowing me to allow me to leave my house. That's great. Thanks, Nippy. So we can visit family and friends again and take holidays in Scotland. Right. Now getting told that we have to take holidays in Scotland. Nothing wrong with taking holidays in Scotland, but I don't like the state dictating, and we Nippies particularly, we Nevishy. We will continue to support those who struggle financially during the pandemic. Sure you will. I've not received a penny from any government source. We will provide £130 payment to everyone eligible for council tax reduction and to a further £100 to low-income families. So bribe, just bribe, isn't it? It's just we'll give you this and we'll give you that, as long as we're telling. So I've not received any money, so it's obviously payments depending on if they like you or not. That's what they do. So they're dictating who's getting the money, rather than lowering the taxes and you just keeping your own money. We're going to set up state apparatchiks to decide who is going to get your money. Come on. We can cut out massive amounts of government waste, get the private sector rocking and rolling again. To follow the examples of Singapore. This means that December last year and the end of this year, low-income families will receive about £400 to £500 to help meet costs of living through the pandemic. Many businesses have had to close and restart grants between £7,000 and £19,000 at the end of April. Well, I've not received a penny of this. I've got multiple companies that are registered, and not one penny have I received to help preparing for reopening. Retail, leisure and hospitality firms will also get 100% business relief this year to help them back to their feet. Our ambition is that in June, life will begin as normal as possible, though face coverings and other may be necessary for some time to come. Yeah. Guys, vaccine snake oil, the pandemic, a catalyst to set up the structure, framework and mindset for governments to operate under World Organisation advice. Yeah, that's right. We've already seen Hums are useless trying to import UN rules from the UN. I don't remember voting for the UN. So, the rules should be set there. We know that Hums are useless is not a lawyer, so why he's in charge of justice, I don't know. He obviously knows nothing about it apart from probably Sharia law. Our record, baby boxes, that's great. Why don't you just leave the people to decide what they want to buy, rather than you give them a baby box, which a lot of it might not be relative. And it's also, you decide what's in the baby box, so you can go to your pals and say, I want your thing for the baby box and I want your thing for the baby box. Why don't you just leave the couples to decide what they want for the baby box? The more money you take away from the couples through taxation to pay for whatever harebrained bullshit idea you've got, that leaves them poorer to decide what they want to do with the money. They're probably in a better position to then receiving one of your daft ass baby boxes. Prescription charges scrapped. All right, so not means tested. The state's just giving out drugs now, free drugs. Here you go, but it's not free because obviously we're paying through taxation. I don't know if this is means tested. Doesn't he? Free tuition? No, it's not. None of these things are free. Stop letting your politicians say these are free. This is money they're stealing off you, forcing you to take through your taxation to whatever pet project that they've decided they think's going to be great, a vote winner. Free tuition, world leading climate targets. Well, Scotland's massively reducing its climate targets, so I don't know what's going to happen to all the green lobby once we actually reach zero emissions. Are they just going to turn into the Marxists that they actually are? Are they just overnight going to disappear? So we've increased that. Are they just I can't wait to get the Green Manifesto. Are they just going to piss off? Just been useless. Oh, right, we're useless now, so what are we to do? Just piss off. Record health spending and 21,500 more NHS staff. So do we need 21,500? I would suggest we need more entrepreneurs creating more wealth. I mean, that's the first time. That last part down here is the first time that you've in this we're page 9, and this part down here is a sort of afterthought, not how much money does the actual underlying enterprise need. We'll just give you between 7,000 and 9,500 based on God knows what, and that's what we'll do as part of our recovery. All right, will you? That's great. I'll be looking forward to that. I'll be actually going out and making sure that I apply, and that if you don't pay me, I'll be taking legal action against this as well. Because it seems to be one rule for one. Oh, we believe in equality unless we don't like you and then we don't give you the money. Ah, right, is that how it works, Nippy? Is it? Oh, yeah. We believe everybody should be equal, except if we decide that you're not equal, then you're not getting it. Absolute filthy scumbags. Good evening. Hi there. Hi there, Mr. McNeil. Border Railway wasn't the SNP's baby, yeah. The idiots, the free stuff. Yeah, of course it is. I mean, you need to start getting holding your politicians to task. Stop saying it's free. Don't let them say it's free. How is needing more staff a good thing? Exactly. How do I know that we need 21,000 more staff in the NHS? Is that where we've got a limited population? Is that where the money's going to be best spent, with another 21,500 more staff in the NHS? I would suggest that we need to target and how to cure cancer, how to get the best treatments, look worldwide to actually get the best treatments for cancer and other diseases. Let's actually to target other people. I believe that in Cuba they had the cure for lung cancer, which is an incredible thing. So I would suggest that we need to focus on getting and working corroboration with our other partners throughout the world and maximising the efficiency of our own treatments within whatever the treatment is for the individual. If it could reduce staff in the NHS, somehow this NHS has become like has grown as a life of its own. We need 21,000 staff. What for? What do we need 21,000 more staff for in the NHS? Where are they all going to go? You can't even get the hospitals opened up. The sick kids child hospital's not opened up. You can't. The 3 children died through the ventilation, as far as I was aware. But how are you going to get? What are these staff going to do? Do we need a higher quality of staff and a more specialised staff in each discipline, working in conjunction with the universities to actually try and cure various problems and diseases? Do we have to look at heart disease in a different way? These are sort of questions that have actually got a validity. But no, these are just generalities, isn't it? Oh, yeah, 21,000 more staff. Oh, wee Nippy's going to put 21,500 more staff in the NHS. Oh, that's great. Oh, it might be stupid. It might be stupid. Everything she does, she seems to be stupid. This could be stupid as well. 1,000 more police, okay. The police don't seem to be actually policing and actually getting the crimes that are actually committed now. I don't know what the police are doing. Police seem to be not investigating crimes instead of investigating. 958 schools built or refurbished. Okay, but some of the school refurbishments are horrible. With all that postmodernist shit architecture that the communists want to bring in, really ugly schools. When you look at the beautiful old schools, these are really ugly and uninspiring schools. They might be good inside, they might be technical inside, not having been in a school recently, or a modern school, although I believe there has been problems through the PPI, although I believe that was actually sort of started off bad but ended up getting slightly better, the PPI. Sometimes it's just not good to throw out the baby with the bathwater from the start. Free personal care extended to all under 65s who need it. What is free personal care? Free Queensferry Crossing and Border Railway. Yeah, no idea what that is. Council tax frozen, not reduced. 10 new benefits. 10 new benefits. I don't think we need any more benefits. What is a benefit? Why don't you just give the people money, like a negative income tax, rather than having to create all these state things that have to administrate the benefit, who are producing nothing for Scotland, and then give them benefits, so they've got to be reliant on the state. That's what me Nippy wants. Just be reliant on me nebbishy character. So 10 new benefits, we don't know what they are. Free school meals for all P1, P2, P3. So the state is now providing food that probably won't be calorie counted. It may not taste very nice. It won't be, and it won't be done in every 2 hour slot, which speeds up the metabolism. So you should be eating 6 times a day. Every 2 hours, 150 grams usually of sweet potato, or for women 150 grams of chicken or similar turkey for women, 200 grams of sweet potato for men, 200 grams of chicken or another protein for men as well. Every 6 hours, that speeds up the metabolism. There you go. That should be in the type of schooling that happens in schools today. You could extend the school day because of them eating on a regular basis, which will then stop having to get out of school situations or staff. Free school meals, fairness, income tax system. The income tax system is a mess. We should be reducing income tax to the lowest possible size level, and we should be reducing corporation tax. That was what was in the report yesterday. I would suggest that we want to be competitive with Ireland. Income tax systems in the UK, first country in the world to make sanitary. So we're now giving women tampons. Women can't afford, but if we just gave poor people more money through the negative income tax, then they could buy their own tampons, surely. Or give children an allowance, a state allowance, which would be out with the thing so that they can actually buy their own products as well. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's similar to buying toilet paper, but I mean, really? Where are we? Buying tampons. So, I don't know what the equivalent would be for men. Are they going to buy men condoms, or what are they going to? What else is the state going to supply? Available free to all pupils and students. Small business bonus. Well, I didn't get a penny. I had a £6.5 million project. I was in the top 13 business plans for all the universities in Scotland, 2008, through the Scottish Institute of Enterprise, which is a charity set up by Scottish Enterprise. And I didn't receive one penny. We applied to I went through systematically with a gentleman who was in the business school, the Strathclyde Business School, which is a very good business school as well. We had a £6.5 million project to remove Drumchapel amateurs. The council looked like they were going to give it the back, and it looked like it was going to go ahead. And not one penny did I get from the actual, from any sort of, I don't know, small business bonus. And why is it only pupils and students? Oh no, no, sorry, that's not. So they should actually give it to pupils and students as well. So it's just sanitary products available to all pupils and students. All right. So I'm going to stick a tampon up my ass then, apparently. Is that, it's obviously to all pupils. So are we going to have sanitary products in the guys' toilets now, are we? For small business bonus. Don't know what the small business bonus is. I'll have to look at that. That's again the first time I've heard them talk about business, and I would suggest that they want to spend billions on business rather than the crap that they're spending on 97,000 affordable homes. I think you want to reintroduce the right to buy. And why is the state building homes anyway? Well, we've already seen the state building homes over generations, and all they produced is shit. It's been one pile of shit after another, and keeping people in poverty through their house building produce and not allowing them the right to buy. 600 hours of free childcare. Oh, great. Why is it free? Why is parents not paying for it? Is this to make them more dependent on the state so you can steal more of their money and keep them poor? Because this is just a keep you poor budget. We've decided that we've got all these crap spending policies that half of them won't actually come to fruition, and we're just going to take as much money off you, and we're going to call it free to spend on whatever bullshit project we want. Homes for New Scots, yeah, of course it is. They don't even give the ones that built it even access to it. I've got to prove that I come from a certain area, even though I've came there for generations, to prove it now, thanks to wee Nippy and our Marxist agenda. more drain on the taxpayer. Of course it is. This is just them saying we're wanting your money and we're going to come up with a whole lot of crap to actually say that we're just going to steal your money. And even the Tories aren't a tax cutting in Scotland as well. Even the Tories are bought into this, the globalist agenda, just to steal your money. That's effectively what it is. Expanding the 1140 Aberdeen bypass, okay. Perth Inverness, okay. Protecting free bus passes, not free. Somebody has to pay for it, so it's taxpayers paying for it, yeah. Leading the world on alcohol prices, okay. Making a country that is historically produced alcohol and has had a relationship with alcohol, making it more expensive because we nippy wants that. Leading Europe on LGBTI equality, so Wee Nippy obviously is a mad lesbo, allegedly, and she's just trying to obviously les up other women. Leading the UK on fair pay, international exports up 63%. Sorry, leading the UK on fair pay. I don't know what fair pay is. That seems like it's going to be another cost on businesses. Where I don't know if start-up businesses are going to be exempt from this, or Wee Nippy is going to give them the money to actually pay for this fair pay. I'll probably be put on the hard-pressed business owner. International exports up 63%. Votes at 16 in Holyrood and council elections. Well, we already know the youth aren't voting in any great numbers anyway. Discover all the ways we are improving everyday life. Everything there will not help me, with the exception of maybe the small business bonus. That's the only thing out of all of this shit, this absolute pile of we want to steal more of your money and spend it in the way we want agenda. Well, none of it is actually going to improve my life in the slightest. Not one of it, bar one. We noticed that leading Europe on LGBT equality, but nothing to said about families, nothing to said, because obviously we know that Nicola's a lesbian, and a childless lesbian allegedly, that nothing to do with building families or increasing the growth rate in Scotland. It's all about taxing. I know what we want to spend it on. I want to spend my money on whatever I want to spend on. So nothing here about getting families, increasing growth in the private sector. Nothing. All about just tax and spend. That's what Nippy is, tax and spender. We call me. I know how to spend your money better than you do. I would want to get as far away from the SNP state as possible. A vote for the SNP at this election is a vote for Marxism, is a vote in favour of the basic principles of democracy. Yeah, you try and silence critics. That's what you do. You're not a democrat and you don't believe in free speech. People of Scotland have the right to decide our own future, and people best able to decide how Scotland is governed are the people who lived here. I don't think you are the best person to decide. Based on these principles, we believe that people of Scotland should have the opportunity in a referendum when COVID crisis is over to decide whether Scotland should be an independent country. Well, it's not going to be independent because we're going to be governed by the EU, and we already know that the EU is wanting to become a federalist structure. The Krauts or the Jerrys are wanting to make a federal structure. And we already know that the globalists, which Wee Nippy, and even Alex Salmond today, was actually talking about wanting to make it a globalist structure as well.
It's on the regional list.
Some climate experts.
So basically, the Alba Party and the SNP are two cheeks of the same arse.
Like a flower. Well, yeah, in some ways it is actually a flower as well, but it was actually, Scotland was called the Kingdom of Alba for 350.
Oh, great.
So a different
So Alex might get elected, so we might get Georgie Porgy and Alex in the same parliament.
Excuse me, it is a break for you if you start.
Very good. Ian Dale, is that the sum of your expectations?
It's interesting. I mean, the Liberal Democrats.
To be fair to the Alba Party, it's only been 3 weeks, so I mean, really, I don't know what to expect. The Scottish Libertarian Party started with 12 votes and now are going to get thousands across the country. And I get 615, as the papers pointed out. Oh, okay, you came last. Well, you have to start somewhere. It doesn't. Rome was not built in a day, and it all starts with a single vote. So there's no expectation on a party that they should immediately break through. Nigel was so close on 33% at the European elections. If he had held that into the general election, we might have broken the first past the post system.
It's been 2.5 years anyway. The next 3 weeks I'm going to talk about politics and you'll see these ratings change.
Sort of 2 or 3% isn't really cutting it, is it?
Well, they campaign. And then, of course, they are a fundamentally significant political party. So, look,
in this interview, Alex Salmond says he's just a globalist shill as well. He just wants to keep us in the EU as well. Let's bring up. A vote for the SNP at this election is a vote in favour of basic democratic principles. The people of Scotland have the right to decide their own future, and the people best able to decide how Scotland is governed are the people who live here. Based on those principles, we believe that Scotland should have the opportunity in a referendum when the COVID crisis is over to decide whether Scotland should be an independent country. We are seeking the permission of the Scottish people in this election for an independence referendum to take place after the crisis. This would be within the next parliamentary term on a specific date to be determined by our democratic elected parliament. If the COVID crisis is passed, the SNP intention is for the referendum to be within the first half of the 5-year term. So again, Salmond in that interview was calling them out for not doing it from day one, because Wee Nippy, I don't think Wee Nippy's not really committed to the SNP or getting out of the UK. Wee Nippy's only interest seems to be communism and the globalist agenda. That's what Wee Nippy seems to have her eyes set on, which she's disingenuous as a political operator for actually saying, because she knows if people actually cottoned on that she's just a wee commie, the people might not vote for her. The SNP intention is for the referendum to be held within the first half of the 5-year term once the crisis is over, but in time to equip our parliament with the full powers it needs to drive our long-term recovery from COVID and build a better, fairer nation. Yeah, waffly nonsense. Over the course of the next parliament, we propose give people in Scotland the right to choose our own future in an independence referendum. So they'll just keep banging on about independence. We propose the referendum, and this is a big problem for the SNP, because if the SNP lose this election, or referendum, they could end up like the Quebecois party in Quebec, which took a nosedive after they failed in 2 referendums. So this is a big stretch for them. Even if they get the majority of seats, it doesn't guarantee the fact that they'll win an independence referendum. COVID crisis has passed, but it's a good time to equip our parliament with the powers it needs to drive long-term economy from COVID. Running citizens' assemblies. Run citizens' assemblies annually. So citizens' assemblies are non-elected. These are just a bunch of twats that they all people who all know each other and want to keep each other in power. It's not actually elected by anybody. It's not actually elected by the citizens. It's called the citizens. Like all political oxymorons, it's a quango, and it's these things are terrible ideas. These are just people who are all think the same, and they all probably go to the same club, and it's not actually actually from citizens. It's just they've already got a citizens' assembly. It's called the Parliament. So why would we run citizens' assemblies looking to look at some of the country's more complex issues we face as a country? They don't want to look at that because anything that goes out with their communist bubble, ideological bubble, means that this is also a Marxist citizens' assembly. This is a Marxist ideology. There were citizens' assemblies under the Soviet Union. Established a citizens' assembly for those under the age of 16 to ensure the voices are heard as the future. But they don't want to hear anybody else's voices that might not be part of their communist cabal. Incorporate all UN treaties into Scottish law to maximum extent possible within the powers of the Scottish Parliament. So the UN, they're literally telling you that the globalist UN is going to write Scots law. So we're going to ignore the traditions of Scots law and incorporate UN treaties. I don't know, the refugee one where you get fake refugees and they can't be deported. That's what's going to happen. So we'd have to write all these treaties out of the Scots law. Being in the UK gave her the Tories to blame whenever things go wrong. That's right. That's right, but it's her to blame. She's just a big global. So I think Boris is a globalist shell. Boris is still doing the underlying globalist agenda, although the Brexit exit was done. The underlying reform, he's still allowing people to stroll into the company. She was interested in the EU. She's more interested in the EU. Of course she is, that's it. And she's also more interested. I heard Humza Useless talk about this, about incorporating all UN treaties into Scots law. No, I don't think we should be doing that. That's just them furthering the globalist agenda. They want to be part of the EU. They want to incorporate all treaties into Scots law. This should be fought against and not actually allowed. Tackling COVID to keep people in Scotland safe has been and will remain the top priority of all SNP governments. However, after the pandemic in Scotland is over, our great nation's mission, as it will be, all countries will be how to recover and rebuild. So they just keep saying the same thing over and over again. Independence, referendum, recover and rebuild. And then you get the wee globalist insights into what their underlying agenda is. Remember I told you they're a globalist party, globalist shell party. The SNP believe that it should be people in Scotland, no matter where they come from. Again, the open borders. I thought we were in the middle of a pandemic and importing the problem was not to be allowed. But we're not allowed to go out of the country in case we get it, but people can come into the country and they may have it. Right, that's very interesting. And not Boris or the Westminster. So again, open borders, use of mass immigration to basically change the populace. That's what the globalist agenda is, don't forget. Being in the UK, that's right. The people of Scotland should have the right to build a Scotland based on compassion, equality and love. What a lot of waffly nonsense. That means the right to protect the NHS from Tory government, right to escape Brexit. I don't want to. 38% of the Scottish people voted for Brexit and don't want to escape it. The right to be equal, and also obviously the Citizens' Assembly, the EU is undemocratic. So you can see how we nippy and our minions want less and less democracy. 28 unelected commissioners dictating a legislation, a Citizens' Assembly that's not democratically elected. Yeah, they keep talking about waffling nonsense like democracy. These are not Democrats, and they don't even respect the Brexit referendum. They don't respect the last referendum. So these are not Democrats. These are Marxists, and you can see by the picture she's standing behind a Marxist symbol. Okay, it's black, but that's not the original hand gesture, which Joanna Cherry did as well, was from a Marxist organisation. So they give you subtle hints of their underlying Marxism. And 100 million people died under Marxist ideologies. And crucially, the right to control our economy, our economic policy, provided security and take advantage of our vast economic potential and create high quality sustainable jobs. At present, much of that controls rest with Westminster, and experienced austerity cuts in recent years serves as a warning that Westminster governments will all too easily return to old ideological ways after the pandemic. I'm more worried about your ideological ways. In contrast, independent Western countries of Scotland's size are amongst the wealthiest, fairest and happiest in the world. If they can do it, why not Scotland? Because you're in charge, Nicola Sturgeon. That's why. And after we have been through, people in Scotland deserve the opportunity of that better future. We want to give people in Scotland the right to choose their own future through an independence referendum, but not personal liberty. You don't want to give people personal liberty. You want to take more and more of their money, and then for you to dictate how their money is getting spent by the state. You do not make me happier, Nicola Sturgeon. You make me less happy. And the way that you're conducting yourself. In order to provide the opportunity, the Scottish Government has published a draft bill for an independent referendum. It sets out the proposed questions to be asked, as well as proposed franchise, and it makes clear that the precise timing of the referendum should be a matter for the Scottish Parliament. If the SNP is returned to government, there is a simple majority in the Scottish Parliament for the bill. After the election, there can be no moral or democratic justification for Boris Johnson or any Westminster government to obstruct the right of Scotland to decide their own future. The SNP is clear that the referendum must be capable of bringing about independence, and therefore it must be accepted as a legitimate and constitutionally at home and abroad. As the Scottish government, we will decide with the UK government that the necessary transfer of power to put a referendum beyond legal challenge and in the hands of the Scottish Parliament for the UK government to refuse to do so would be undemocratic and unsustainable. I would suggest that you're undemocratic, the SNP, and that's why you want citizens' assemblies. You want to join an undemocratic EU where 28 unelected commissioners are dictating our legislation. If the democratic elected Scottish Parliament passes a referendum bill and the UK government then attempts to block it by taking legal action, we will vigorously defend the Parliament's will in order to protect the democratic rights of the Scottish people. Before any referendum takes place, we will ensure that have the information they need to make an informed choice about their future. The fact is that Westminster is taking the wrong direction. I would say the SNP are taking Scotland in the wrong direction. How about that? How do you like those apples? And by taking free Scotland, we build a new Scotland for everyone who lives here, based on fairness, equality, compassion. Well, they're all subjective, isn't it? How do you quantify them? So I don't feel that don't feel that I'm being equally treated. In fact, I would say that me being slandered all over the papers and not having any legal redress because the lawyers will not take forward the case and I can't get in front of a judge is not equal. So I don't think you are unequal. I think you're a social justice warrior ideology where you want to have one rule for one for another. Compassion for who? You're not compassionate for the 3,000 people you killed in the care homes. You weren't compassionate when you took away the drug policy for people who had drug habits. Where was your compassion? Where was your compassion for you had the 3 children that were killed through the ventilation in the hospital, which I don't think is even open now? You're incompetent. Happiness and love, it's just waffly nonsense from Nicola Sturgeon. If I put we'd like to all be flowery and live, it's just waffly nonsense, and that we believe Scotland's future should be in Scotland's hands. Citizens' Assembly, not non-elected again, just like the EU. So they've got no legitimacy. Following concerns about the polarisation of politics debate exacerbated by the Brexit experience, we set up a Citizens' Assembly to help find consensus on issues where people sharply divided. No, what you'll do is you'll restrict the debate to people who just agree with you. That's what you'll do. You won't get me onto your Citizens' Assembly. You won't allow me the opportunity on television to answer the questions. That's what you won't do. You just restrict the debate and slander anybody who doesn't follow your Marxist agenda. That's what you do. The first assembly looking to answer 3 questions. What kind of country are we seeking to build? A Marxist one in your example. How can we best overcome the challenges we face, including those arising from Brexit? Brexit's an opportunity and not a challenge. I would say it's more of a challenge getting dictated to by 20 unelected commissioners. Say that's more of a challenge, because then they're not accountable to anybody. So I would suggest that's the challenge. And the fact that you're so undemocratic, keep waffling on about democracy, but you want to get dictated to by 20 unelected commissioners. Rubbish. And further work should be carried out to give people they need to make informed choices about the future of our country. Yeah, I would suggest not voting for the SNP would be an informed choice. Not voting for these Marxists would be an informed choice, because we've already seen how what happens in far left countries throughout the world. The outcome of the first Citizens' Assembly has shown where the hell has this been, involving individuals and major challenges affecting our lives is not only possible but also delivers results. We will carefully consider the outcomes of the first Citizens' Assembly and respond to them positively. We welcome the ambitious interim findings of the Climate Assembly. So there's all these assemblies that I'm not privy to them. How can I go along to them? I thought I'm a citizen. How did I go into these assemblies? Where are these assemblies? So we don't even get told where these assemblies are. So these are not open to the public. These are a bunch of individuals, probably either party or appointed by the party, who are then making decisions without actually consulting the rest of the country. So these are just to actually restrict the debate, not to actually include it. We remain committed to the participation democracy and creating spaces for genuinely public involvement in democracy decision makings. No, you won't. Going further, we will run annual Citizens' Assemblies to look at some of the more complex issues we face in the country. We will bring together across sections people from across the country to discuss topics and reform the council tax. Well, I've already said what the best role for the council tax would be: the role of local government, assisted dying and decriminalisation of drugs. Ahead of the referendum on Scotland's future, we will also ask the Citizens' Assembly to consider some of the key issues about kind of country we want to be, for example, social security, taxation or immigration policy. Well, you've already told us, Nippy, that you want an open door immigration policy, and the buck stops with you, doesn't it, Nippy? You in line with the globalist cabal. So we already know that we can talk as much as we want, but you've already signed us up to the globalists, and you've also just said that you're going to implement the UN treaties, which one of them is the treaty in Marrakesh. So a de facto an open immigration policy. So we can talk as much as we want until we get rid of you and get somebody in that will control immigration. These Citizens' Assembly are just a talking shop and a waste of time. We will encourage local Citizens' Assembly that consider community issues and propose solutions. A Citizens' Assembly for under 16s, building a success for the first Citizens' Assembly. We will establish an assembly for children and young people under 16 that better represents. Incorporate UN treaties in Scottish law, exactly what I was talking about. In 2016, we committed to full protection of human rights. I didn't feel my human rights weren't protected, and I don't know why a globalist cabal, which nobody elected, would actually be able to protect my human rights more than anything else. Learning from the best global practices to determine the guaranteed protection we should seek to enshrine Scottish law. Legislation has already been passed to incorporate the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child into domestic law. I don't know what that is. So where do I get to see that? I might not want that in Scots law. So we'll maybe have to look at that and find out what that is. So in order to make human rights real for every member of society, we are incorporating more UN human rights treaties, the International Convention on Economic and Social and Cultural Rights, don't know what that is, Convention on Eliminating All Forms of Discrimination against Women, not against women and men. So it's not against women and men, it's just against women. So surely that's sexist and not equal as well. So it's just against women. So you can only eliminate forms of... So this is back to the social justice. One rule for one for another. Convention on all forms of racial discrimination, except if it comes to white people, and then they're allowed to be discriminated against. So I don't know what that controls. So obviously this is a racist, because they believe that people don't look like you are a different race. So they believe in racial discrimination, or they wouldn't be putting this forward. So we already know that NIPI does follow that list. This is the globalist agenda. So we NIPI, I'm bang to rights and everything I said. We NIPI's a globalist shill. She's shilling for the globalists. I don't know what any of these are. None of these have just been wholesale planted into Scots law. And they might have to be overturned and kicked out. These are not part of Scottish law, and these have just been stuck in the Convention on Rights for the Disabled. So I would obviously come under there with my learning difficulties, but I don't even know if I do. So I don't know what any of these actually entail, and if these have been debated about. These have just been brought in lock, stock, and two smoking barrels from the UN, which is not a technocracy, which is not the vast majority of the UN have not been democratically elected either. The vast majority of the countries. The world leading human rights legislation will reduce inequality. No, what it'll do is set up one rule for one for another, and if you're the other, which you'll be as a white male or a white female, you'll be the other. And these laws will not protect you. I'll pretty much guarantee it. The world human rights legislation will reduce inequality. No, it'll exacerbate human inequality. It'll just advance people's rights at the expense of others. It won't be an equal system. It'll be a one rule for you, one for everybody else. Advance the rights of everybody and ensure human rights are enabled in every aspect of life in Scotland. I'm already angry at this. It's not even. I want this to go ahead or vote for the SNP. I'm already furious at this, and I'm only on page 13. And your citizens' assembly and all that bullshit. Not one. Comment on whether we should or should not. This has been done de facto on whether or not we should. I don't even know what these actually represent. We've already seen Humza Useless's one rule for one for another agenda. And I don't know if that exacerbates it from the UN or not. Oh, come on. What's my baby Guerilla saying? Lowry, all right. Venus flytrap. She'll never let us have the full information. Yeah, I know, because they're doing it through the back door. We've witnessed this over the last years. Yeah, stop voting for them. Dead simple. Vote for the Scottish Libertarian Party. Vote for the UK Reform Party. Stop voting for the Lib Lab Con Party. They're just as bad. They'll do exactly the same thing. Stop voting for them. That's the only way you're going to overturn this. The fact that, if we just vote for some twat from the Labour Party to beat Humza Useless, the guy from the Labour Party is not going to be a twat as well. You're tripping. You're politically tripping. Unless you move to a different part of the political compass, only at that point will you actually change it. If you're voting for the Lib Lab Con Party, the Greens, the SNP, and if you want to give me anybody else you want to vote for, I'll be able to tell you exactly whether or not to vote for them. But until you decide, right, I'm not voting for any of these efforts, I'm going to vote for somebody else. Only at that point, it doesn't matter if you're voting. It doesn't matter if you're voting for somebody else just now. Just move your vote and stop voting for these. He's in London and can't leave Scotland. Best and dank. And a beta meals. You are on form tonight, David. Thank you, boy. Free care, not healthcare. I've been at the doctor, so I'm feeling a bit better. So we're only at page 13. I'm sure this is getting bloody 70 pages. I think we're going to have to break this down. What will we do? How much is 76 pages? 15. We might have to do another 4 2-hour things on just this one alone. Bloody hell. So I might come back to this. What I might do is do a 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock show. I don't know, I'll see how it goes. I might come back to this and I'll do up to page 15 and then I'll come back because I need something to eat. I'm starving. Start at page 15. The right to decide Scotland's future, better democracy, empowering people to take the country in a direction we want to go. All rubbish. Better government, you've been useless. Governments people in Scotland vote for, not Westminster governments, then we reject. I would reject Marxism because you seem to, a free public NHS, not free, we're paying through taxation guaranteed. Oh, great. I actually don't care if there's private companies involved in producing things if they're competent. We've seen the majority of things that are provided through the state are shit, and we've seen it time and time again. ScotRail wasn't as good as what it is just now. It's more expensive now, but it probably gives a greater point in actually how much it's actually valued at. But if I use ScotRail, I wouldn't want to pay the government then to pay for ScotRail. Control of the Scotland's economy and resources, a fairer social security system. You should just scrap it and just give people money and let them spend for themselves. They know best. The fair social security, escape from Brexit. We're going to bring in a political party that if you get us back into the EU, we'll immediately pull out. So that we will immediately step out of the EU, and we'll gain the support of the 38% of Scots who don't want to be part of the EU. An equal partner with our friends in the rest of Europe, UK and Europe. Yeah, I don't mind being an equal partner to them, but I don't want governed by them. Scotland's money spent on Scotland's priorities, not nuclear weapons. Sounds all like all your priorities are just about empowering the state and not the individual. Protection of our Scottish Parliament from Westminster power grab. Scottish Parliament building is an absolute eyesore. I'm embarrassed that that's our National Parliament's building. Absolutely disgusting. More bamboo than the panda cage in the Edinburgh Zoo. Oh yeah, well this is good. I've got 5 twats. Right, here we go. Let's see these characters. That would be nippy.
Just as our NHS protected all of us during the pandemic, we have a duty
Didn't protect me, I didn't have it.
to protect and strengthen it. With both votes SNP,
Both votes, Dank.
we can put our NHS at the heart of our recovery. As we emerge out of COVID, we will remobilise our NHS and increase
How are you going to grow the economy?
investment in health by over £2.5 billion.
How are you going to grow the economy?
Boost mental health funding by 25%.
How are you going to grow the economy?
And invest £10 billion to renew and replace NHS facilities across Scotland.
How are you going to grow the economy?
Instead of just clapping for our NHS staff, we're offering them the biggest pay rise in the
How are you going to grow the economy?
history of devolution. We will establish a new national care service
How are you going to grow the economy?
backed by 25% more investment in social care
How are you going to grow the economy?
and a new national wage for care staff. We will scrap charges for non-residential care.
How are you going to grow the economy?
And just as we've abolished prescription fees, we will abolish NHS
How are you going to grow the economy?
dentistry charges. But to put these plans into action, we
How are you going to grow the economy?
have to
To put these plans into action, we have to grow the economy. So how are you going to grow the economy, Nippy?
elect this SNP government. So do not leave it to chance. On May 6th, make both votes SNP.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't. Oh, there's Humza useless. Humza useless. Oh, it's all the white people's fault, is it? There's too many white people. Oh, there he is there. Oh my God.
We want to invest in our communities.
Especially the £300,000 that my mum got for the Islamic Centre from the SNP government, and the £400,000 I think your cousin got, wasn't it? Oh, good stuff. Yeah, that's investing the SNP way.
Building better, greener homes and
Oh, greener homes. Are they going to? I know you're a Celtic fan. Are they going to be like Celtic colours?
better, greener transport links.
Oh, that's great. How are you going to grow the economy? Homes are useless.
With both votes SNP,
Yeah, both votes, thank.
we can put local communities at the heart of Scotland's recovery.
Oh, is it? Oh, and how are you going to grow the economy for the recovery, you idiot?
We'll deliver 100,000 affordable homes.
Oh, great. We've not seen any problems from the state providing homes before. Oh, are we going to have the right to buy these homes? Or are these homes going to just be for people? Or is your mum going to buy them all?
With 70% for social rent.
Oh, 70% of social rent. Right.
Next year, we'll bring Scotland's railways into public hands.
Oh, that's great. That's not going to make me any richer either. How are you going to grow the economy, dum-dum?
We'll extend free bus travel to
Oh, free. No, you're stealing other people's money to pay for other people's bus travel. Oh, that's great. Hums are useless. That's very clever. How are you going to grow the economy? Hums are useless.
everyone under 22. We'll take forward our plans for 20-minute neighbourhoods where
Well, it's a 20-minute neighbourhood. He's just waffling a lot of nonsense.
people can meet their daily needs.
Oh, can they? With a 20-minute walk? Oh, fantastic. I wasn't able to do that before. What a great political achievement. And a 20-minute walk, oh.
20-minute walk. And a £10 million Scotland Loves Local fund.
Oh, Scotland Loves Local. Oh, right. A £10 million fund to God knows what that is. More money wasted. How are you going to grow the economy?
Will help revitalise high street shops.
Well, the £10 million is going to revitalise all high street shops, is that right? Right, sure it is, Humza.
Hit by the pandemic.
Oh, does it? Oh, wow.
We'll invest 200 million in our Connecting Scotland programme,
Oh, great. What are we connecting to? Connecting to your brain?
helping up to 300,000 households to get online.
Oh, wow. I've got online already. It's incredible. There's a whole bunch of companies that are selling these online services. Hundreds are useless.
And we'll spend 10% of the transport capital budget on cycling and walking.
Oh, great. Oh, that's great. How's that going to make me any richer? Pums are useless. How are you going to grow the economy with that?
While providing free bikes for
Oh, free bikes for school. Oh, free. So more money wasted for your pet projects. Oh, by stealing money from the taxpayer and paying for utter crap. How are you going to grow the economy?
all school-aged children who can't afford them.
Oh, well, that's very... Are you Santa Claus? Oh, it's great. How are you going to grow the economy?
If you want to build a better, fairer Scotland,
No, I want to grow the economy.
make it both votes SNP.
No, I wouldn't be voting for you if health rules over. Oh, here it is. Come on. All day.
It is clearer than ever that Scotland's future is as an independent nation at the heart of Europe.
He's a twat. Oh, independent, but governed by 20 unelected commissioners. Yes, and that's democracy. Oh, yeah. I mean, really, what a bunch of... Oh, man, I'm speechless.
On May the 6th, both votes SNP is key to securing that choice.
Oh, is it? Thanks. I don't want to be part of an undemocratic EU. Thanks very much, where I'm getting dictated to by people who are not accountable.
Future. A re-elected SNP government will deliver a post-pandemic referendum, having published our draft bill. We'll ensure the transfer of powers to put a referendum beyond any legal challenge. And should Boris Johnson try to block it, we will vigorously defend
We'll be living in the Soviet Republic of Scotland.
the democratic rights of the Scottish people, the right to decide the sort of country we become after the pandemic. A Scotland where our NHS is in public hands, not at risk of being sold off by the Tories. A Scotland that can reach...
Well, you seem to... how are you going to grow the economy, John? Come on, Baldy, how are you going to grow the economy, you twat?
join the EU as an equal partner, a Scotland based on fairness.
Oh, fairness, just words. Equality doesn't mean anything. How are you going to, what does that mean? Equality for what? What equality? And compassion. Oh, you're going to be compassionate about building the fairness. Abstract word as well. How do you actually quantify that politically? And equality. How's it going to be equal? Are Baldy John going to give me half his money? That would make it fairer, John. Are you going to do that, Baldy John? Or are you just going to talk nonsense? It seems like quite Marxist nonsense as well.
And compassion. If you back independence, if you want Scotland to have a choice, don't leave it to chance.
I wouldn't leave it to Marxist either. What else we got? Quite like Kate Forbes, to be honest with you, but I mean, she's Nicola Sturgeon wants to les up this girl, Rosa, whatever her name is. She's falling about. This girl should not be in the position she's in. Not because she's an immigrant or anything else, she's just not politically astute enough to be in the position she's in.
We know that Scotland's future lies in being an outward-looking and progressive European nation, not stuck in a Brexit.
Progressive. Now, whenever you hear the word progressive, think Marxist. So this is a Marxist union. So no, I don't want to be in a Marxist union.
Isolationism.
Oh, right. But Singapore's isolated and it's doing a great job. So it's doing a better job than you and your bad policies, Rosa. So
Here's how both votes SNP can deliver that future for Scotland.
No thanks, I don't want your future.
Will expand Scotland's international network of investment hubs in the Nordic and Baltic regions.
What investment hubs? What investment hubs? Why are you not investing in the Scottish entrepreneurs? How's the investment hubs making Scotland richer? And maybe it does, maybe it's something I don't know about, but I've not heard of the Nordic and Baltic regions investment hubs.
Will maintain and strengthen Scotland's relationship with our EU partners with a view to rejoining as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I'll pull it back out, Rosa. So I'll actually set up a political party that will immediately pull us out of the EU if we get a majority of seats.
And will establish a migration service to welcome and help people settle in Scotland.
We're in the middle of a COVID pandemic, so why are we welcoming people in? I thought in your manifesto that you said we shouldn't be importing people who may have other strains of the virus. So why are we welcoming people into Scotland in the middle of a pandemic?
Communities.
So we're basically going to ethnically cleanse our own populace through the use of mass immigration. Is that another UN demand? And also treat them better by giving them laws that are not applicable to the indigenous population. And that's what Nicola Sturgeon wants.
No one should be made destitute because of the Tory policy of no resource to public funds. We'll take forward our strategy to support people with safe accommodation, food and special advice.
Not if they're illegal immigrants. If they're illegal immigrants, they should be getting deported back to the country of origin. If you've just not coming through, if you're just walking into this country illegally, you should be deported back to your country of origin. If you're a refugee, then fair enough. But if this has not been done legally, we'll come in and we'll change that.
We'll increase Scotland's international development fund.
Yeah, you maybe want to not increase the international development fund. Maybe you want to start to develop Scottish entrepreneurs. How are you going to develop the economy in Scotland, Rosa?
In contrast to Westminster cuts, and will support the creation of an Institute for Peacekeeping and a Scottish Council for Global Affairs.
So we're back to the globalist agenda again. Back to the globalist agenda. Wee Nippy's a globalist shell. The Council for Global Affairs. Right.
This is the outward-looking and progressive European nation we can build together. And if you back
Scotland, where?
plans, don't leave it to chance. Make it both votes SNP on.
Oh, I don't think so. And if Nicola Sturgeon doesn't win a constituency seat, young Rosa is first choice on the regional list. So nobody got elected from the SNP's regional list in the west of Scotland. So if Nippy doesn't get elected and say Sawar wins the south of wherever it is, Govan Hill and down there, south of Glasgow, that Nicola Sturgeon might be out of politics. A whole bunch of non-entities. Kate, what's her face? Oh, Kate's got to talk about economics. Come on then, Kate.
As we emerge out of COVID, what kind of Scotland do we want to build? With both votes SNP, you can re-elect a progressive SNP government.
So they're all talking about progressive. I want you to keep that in mind. Progressive is code for Marxist. She'll never... on away here. That's why she opened her borders. Refugees she has met that they can vote for her. Yeah, neither will I. But without doubt, they all hide the claim that they never voted for them. Yeah, which of course is. Gimps, yeah, exactly, Gimps.
Government that will build an economy that's fairer, greener and more resilient.
How are you going to do it? How are you going to build the economy that's the economy's fairer, greener and more resilient? How are you going to do it? What are you going to do to support? You're meant to be something to do with Scotland's economy. What the fuck do you know about Scotland's economy?
We'll build 100,000 more affordable homes to power our recovery and create jobs.
How is building homes going to create? I understand it's going to create, but these are secondary jobs. I've already tried to explain this. You economic incompetent. These are not primary jobs, just like schools, just like fire brigades, hospitals. None of these create growth, NK. So I don't know if you're that stupid that you don't know about economics. So why are you in the position you're in if you don't know? None of this is going to create growth. How are you going to grow the economy, Kate?
Our £100 million Green Jobs Fund.
Oh, the £100 million in the Green Jobs Fund. Oh, we're all going to paint ourselves green, jump about like a bunch of green smurfs. Is Humza useless got anything to do with this?
A green jobs revolution.
A green job revolution. So help us reach net zero by 2045. Great, because that means the Green Party are finished. They have not got an agenda unless it's underlined. They're just going to now be openly Marxist. So that's great. So then none of these whiners, green whiners, will have an agenda after we actually achieve that. All they could do is go to some other country.
Reach net zero by 2045. We'll future-proof businesses with a small business bonus scheme and invest.
Oh, a small business bonus scheme. Oh, that's going to really help, isn't it? How are you going to grow high-tech growth companies? How are you going to do that? What's the funding for that for stage 1, stage 2 startups? You're absolutely incompetent.
Invest in digital skills and equipment. Entrepreneurs will always have the SNP's backing.
Oh, yeah. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do for the entrepreneurs, you absolute buffoon? So what is it that you're actually specifically going to do?
Not least with the Rural Enterprise Fund.
Oh, the rural... that's really going to get high growth jobs, isn't it? Oh, the Rural Enterprise Fund. Oh, so I have to go up to wherever and go up and set up my high-tech business up there, have I? Oh, so you're now trying to dictate where is the best place for me to set up the fund in the rurals. Now, I'm not against setting up rural businesses or even moving to specific parts, but as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to get the people. So it's probably going to be hubs around the large cities. That's the reality. I'm not saying other places can't be used or utilised, but I'm just saying the reality is. But you still haven't told us how you're going to set up high growth, high tech company. Where's your fund for that?
And the new Women's Business Centre.
Oh, Women's Business Centre. Oh, so the vaginas are going to set up they're going to get protected, and we're going to have all the vaginas in charge of the business centre, which sounds pretty good to me. I might actually just go along there. But you're going to actively discriminate against men to set up this lesbian centre for women who just want to hang about with other women. Is that Nicola Sturgeon's idea? The one that she got wee Rosie hanging about with her?
We'll elevate the tech sector to world-class status with
How are you going to do that?
tech scaler innovation hubs.
Oh, tech scale and innovation hubs. All right. So how is you setting up a hub going to get stage 1 and stage 2 funding to the entrepreneurs to actually develop the business? Okay. How are you going to do that? Setting up a hub is not exactly going to, well, it can help, don't get me wrong. But the fact is, how are you going to finance the stage 1, stage 2 parts of the finance? How are you going to access it? Because there's venture capitals and angels who may not touch until they actually see the business after stage 2. And I bet you don't even know what stage 2 is.
And while thinking big, we'll think local too, revitalising our high streets and investing in local wealth.
Oh, are you investing in local wealth, is it? Oh, that's so clever. Oh, you're going to invest in local wealth. Oh, well, that's not just abstract, absolute nonsense bullshit like the rest of your crap manifesto. Revitalise your high street. So how are you going to do that? Well, now that you've got everybody hooked on Amazon, they can get things delivered to the door, and you've closed down the businesses, destroying the cash flow in the actual underlying businesses. How are you going to do that, Kay? Please tell us.
Every young person will have access to the Young Person's Guarantee, and with free...
Oh, young person's guarantee. Oh, you're giving them bus passes. All right, for under 22s. Maybe they don't want a bus pass. Maybe they don't want that. Why don't you just give them money and then they can decide what they want to spend on it? Why are you deciding that you're going to give them a bus pass? Because you want to get them on the buses.
Free bus travel for under 22s will make it easier for them to get there.
Oh, okay.
Together, let's build an economy that's fit for the future.
You've not said anything there that would give me any confidence in you having an understanding of how to grow an economy or how to increase the growth rate. Not one bit of your waffly bullshit is actually giving me any confidence in this.
An economy for everyone, but don't leave it to chance. Make sure it's both votes, SNP.
Vote for women's business hubs, just for...
We have a plan to improve education and tackle the attainment gap.
Great.
This is how both
But you've not managed to do it so far.
votes SNP will build a smarter Scotland. We'll end the digital divide, giving a free laptop or tablet to every school pupil with free internet connection.
Right, okay, I don't disagree with that. That's especially beneficial for children with specific learning difficulties like dyslexia. So I'm not disagreeing with that, but they need to know other things to actually help with their dyslexia. And if they don't know they're dyslexic in the first place or have any other specific learning difficulty, then they won't know how to maximise and utilise what they're actually being done.
And we'll establish a national digital academy so everyone can study for hires, all subjects, anytime, any place and any age.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's quite a good idea.
We'll recruit 3,500 additional teachers and classroom assistants, invest £1 billion to close the attainment gap. And we'll tackle classroom hunger with universal free school meals for all primary pupils.
We're going to take your taxpayers' money off you. You're going to tell your children what food we are going to give to them, and they're going to like it regardless of whether it's good or not, or whether it's nutritious or not. What's your nutritional standard for supplying my child with your food?
Scotland has some of the world's best universities free from tuition fees under the SNP. We will always keep education a right, not a privilege.
Oh, right, that's great.
And not just education, but a guaranteed job, apprenticeship or training with our young person's guarantee.
Oh.
So if you want...
How are you going to raise it? How are you going to grow the economy? How are you going to get entrepreneurs and grow the economy?
More teachers, free tuition and the best start for young people. You've got to vote for it. Make it both votes SNP on Thursday, 6th of May.
Oh, dank. What else have we got? I saw equalities, environment. I think I can handle much more of this.
We want Scotland to be a world leader in human
Hey, we've got an alpha here.
rights, with a caring, more equal society. Here's how both votes SNP can help build that country. We've already incorporated children's rights into legislation, but we want to go even further, enshrining 4 more UN treaties into Scots law.
So how do we know that we want these treaties in Scots law? Where are these treaties? We want to actually see them. What happens if we don't want these treaties in Scots law? Why is the UN dictating to us what should be and should not be in Scots law?
These will ensure everyone has the right to live with dignity and freedom.
I've got the right to live with dignity and freedom. I don't think you give me my dignity and freedom. What you do is take away my dignity and freedom by more and more oppressive neo-Marxist interference.
They'll protect the rights of people with disabilities, and they'll seek to eliminate all forms of discrimination against women and all forms of rape.
Oh, it's only women that get discriminated against, right? Oh, fuck. Oh, so it's only... So the way that we're going to have an equal society is just take specific groups and give them specific rights. And that's how we're going to make it fairer. Right, I see. I thought you were meaning it was going to be equal for everybody. No. The way that you, because you're a bunch of scumbags, think that fairness is by treating people differently based on their groups. Right. Nah, I don't think so. So that means actually in my own country, I'm going to be well down the pecking order. This is the SJW intersectional nonsense where depends on where you are on the pecking order, depends on how severe that you should be treated. So regardless of what the underlying situation is, it depends on your oppression points, which is out of the Frankfurt School from the Marxists, because they killed 100 million people and had to reinvent it. So they are now talking about, oh, well, this person's more oppressed, not on what the underlying oppression or the underlying even crime could be. Oh no, this person's part of this group, but their rights needs protected. Not everybody's rights need protected. We need to protect against specific things. They've got it on the totem pole of their wee bum chums and who they want to protect.
Racial discrimination.
Oh, and all forms. So once we get the UN Compact, all forms of female discrimination and all forms of racial discrimination are going to go, or is it going to be that you can discriminate against people who don't fall in the categories that you've decided are racial discrimination? Is that what's going to happen? So other people will be discriminated against on the totem pole of your SJW bullshit, and so it's not going to be an even a level playing field. It'll be, if you're part of this group, you're more discriminated, not on what the underlying discrimination actually is. I see. No, I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. You can take your UN Compact and shove it right up your ass.
We'll also develop a strategy to close the ethnicity pay gap.
The ethnicity pay gap? What the fuck is it? In a country that is 96% white, how are you going to close an ethnicity pay gap? What are people doing in jobs? What happens to the poorest people who are white in Scotland? How are they going to close the gap with... My friends were from Hong Kong, and they were lawyers, and one was a doctor, one became an airline pilot, one was an architect, and the other got a degree in political economics. I don't know what he was doing. So all of them were richer than some poor people from Scotland. So how is they going to close the ethnicity wage gap with people who are in the ethnic minorities who are actually richer than them? How are you going to do that? And again, this is just Marxist bullshit. This is just waffly Marxist bullshit.
There is no place for conversion therapy in Scotland. And
we can see you're not one, big man. That's right. The gay mafia, remember? The gay mafia. We Nippy and our friends from Bennett's.
If the UK government doesn't take the actions they've committed to...
I don't know, but it's funny because obviously Humza Useless is an Islamist, and that Humza Useless would throw homosexuals off the minarets or kill them, chop their heads off. We've already seen what's the best way to kill your homosexual. So I don't understand how the mental gymnastics that we're going to protect homosexuals until Scotland becomes an Islamic country through the use of open borders and mass immigration, and then they can just kill the homosexuals. Oh well, you better watch what you wish for, boys.
We'll bring forward legislation to end it in devolved areas. Make it both votes.
Yeah, I'm not voting for you either. You're absolute crackpot. What else we got? Families. Oh, let's see what these absolute twats are saying about families.
We want every child in Scotland to get the best start in life,
Do you? Oh, that's super.
no matter their background.
Oh, yes. Fantastic.
If re-elected, we'll build a wraparound childcare system.
Oh, a wraparound childcare system. Oh, that doesn't sound creepy, doesn't it? Oh, don't worry. We've got a wraparound childcare system from the SNP and their creepy friends.
Care before and after school,
Oh, that's great.
all year round.
Oh,
Those on the lowest incomes will pay nothing.
really not. Oh, that's super.
We'll also expand free early years education to
Oh, fantastic. So you can indoctrinate our children even more with your Marxist nonsense. Great.
all 1 and 2 year olds. We'll double the Scottish child payment to £20
£20 per child per week. Oh, that's great. But you'll still feed young women with this oppression bullshit that you're going to pump out through your feminist Marxist crap, where young men and young women are now rubbing up against each other, aggravated with each other because you're pumping out this crap. Because you're just a bunch of Marxists, correct? Is that what you're going to do?
child per week, lifting thousands of families and children out of poverty. And we'll provide free school meals.
You haven't managed to do it so far, and the way you lift people out of poverty is by entrepreneurship and being able to develop companies, which none of your crap that I've listened to just now is going to have any great effect on that. It's all what we can spend on. I've got some wacky shitty idea that, let's just steal other people's money and call it free. Why don't we just say we'll make everybody millionaires, and we're going to say we're going to make everybody millionaires for free? And how are you going to do that? Oh, we're just going to steal other people's money and we're going to just make everybody millionaires. Absolute crackpots.
To every primary school pupil in Scotland all year round. To protect family budgets, we'll aim to maintain current income tax rates for the duration of
Why don't you cut them? Why don't you cut income tax and stop paying to spend people's money on a lot of shit?
Parliament. We will renew every play park in Scotland, and we'll continue.
Oh, every play park. Oh, well, that's great. You're not going to consult with the people. Maybe you should consult with children and what they want in the play park.
Providing baby boxes for
Oh, baby boxes. Oh, these baby boxes is probably one of the greatest political revolutionary ideas I've ever actually heard. Oh, baby box. Oh, that's great. What's in the baby box? Oh, it doesn't matter. It's like nappies and dummies, but why? I've bought my own nappies and dummies. Why do I need a baby box? It's not about you, what you need. It's about us being able to spend your money on any shit that we want to spend on. Not the fact that you can't buy it yourself and down at the local shop. We've decided that we're going to spend your hard-earned money by taxing you more and giving you less personal freedoms and things you can do. And we're going to give you back what we want you to spend on. We're going to say it's free as well. Oh, it's genius. Genius.
all newborns. Let's make Scotland the best place to grow up.
Yeah, let's get rid of the SNP. Get rid of the SNP. Don't vote SNP 1 or 2.
Let's make it both votes SNP.
Oh, vote Dank. Vote Dank.
Thursday, May 6th.
Oh, I don't even know if I can take the stomach anymore of this crap. Oh, let's see this. Oh, women. Not one for men, but the women. Let's talk about the women. Let's talk about the women not producing enough children, shall we? No. It's not all about the women not producing enough children. There's men involved in that too. And whatever's happening just now, the two are not getting together, if you know what I mean. Oh, here we go. Another bull-cutted lesbian.
From action on equal pay to
action on equal pay. Equal pay. You've had the equal pay for years. It's been legislated on for years.
gender balanced cabinet in the
Oh, a gender balance full of lesbians. So fantastic.
tackling period poverty.
Oh, my vagina. Oh, I didn't have any tampons before. Actually, this poverty in Scotland, one of the richest countries in the world. If it wasn't for the SNP, I would know what to stick up there. Oh, and it's in the guys' bedroom. It's for period poverty is for men and women. I've been sticking tampons up my ass for years now. Thank you, SNP.
The SNP has a proud record of fighting for gender equality.
Oh, gender equality. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Not based on whether or not you're going to be competent or not, but if you've got a vagina or a penis, that makes you adequate for being in the SNP Parliament. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. How are you going to increase the birth rate? Gillian Gilruth.
Let's keep delivering for women with both votes SNP.
How are you going to increase the birth rate? Mary McCallan, right, let's hear her.
Scotland to be the best place in the world to grow up.
Oh, fantastic, that's great. So you're deciding you're wanting to be the best place in the world to grow up.
Here's what both votes SNP will deliver for young people.
We've already sort of identified it in the first 15 pages of your manifesto. It sounds like a communist dystopia. That's what it sounds like, what you're aiming for. And I don't know if I want to live in a communist society, an Islamist communist society. I prefer Scotland the way it is, thanks. Not really interested in your SNP waffly nonsense, thanks.
A free laptop or tablet with...
Oh, but if I'm getting a free laptop or tablet, that's brilliant. Brilliant. Unbelievable.
Free internet connection for...
Oh, are you going into the houses? Are you going to give them in the houses? All right.
Child. We'll scrap council tax for all under 22s.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's great.
We'll tackle classroom hunger with
oh, fantastic.
breakfast and lunches.
McDonald's and Burger Kings.
All year round for every primary pupil.
Oh, fantastic.
Universal free breakfasts in
universal, so more money stealing off the taxpayer to provide facilities that your child has probably already eaten his breakfast, but I guess another way of them taking your money to provide the food that they think your child should be eating, not what you think your child should be eating, but what they think your child should be eating, or just providing crap food.
Secondary schools too. A new grant to support young care experienced people, free bus travel.
Young care experienced people?
For everyone under 22. And free bikes for all school-aged people who cannot afford them. We'll bring justice and care services under one roof at a new Bairns House.
What are you going to do for children that have been raped by Muslim asylum seekers?
We'll guarantee work, education or training opportunities with our young persons guarantee and
guarantee it. So that's more money wasted, because obviously you're going to have to pay for that. If you're going to guarantee it, that means you're going to have to steal even more money to guarantee these apprenticeships. And surely the market should be deciding, not the SNP, what the future direction of the Scotland is going to be. Surely it should be the free market. Seems like you want to continually impose your ideology in every aspect of Scotland.
Free tuition always guaranteed under the SNP. This is the fairer, greener country.
Fairer and greener. Oh, that's great. It doesn't sound very fair to me. It sounds like it's completely one-sided at the moment. Completely one-sided. Doesn't sound that it's fair and greener. I don't know how competent these people are. It seems like we want to base an identity, but not based on competence. It doesn't seem... I'm not blown away by thinking, wow, this is a great bunch of politicians. They all look highly competent.
Build together. If you back our plans...
Oh, no, definitely don't. Definitely don't. Even if it was for independence, having looked at your absolute shit show of a manifesto, I would definitely not be voting for you. 100%, not again. As I said, I have voted for the past. I should have probably looked at the manifesto before, but I'm definitely not voting for you. No thanks.
Make it both votes, SNP.
Oh, both votes, thank. What else have we got? Going through every one of these absolute... Oh, this chap here, rural. Government, I'll go for the government guy. Well, there's a big cheery gay guy.
Scotland was the first country in the world to declare a climate emergency, and we're taking bold action to become a net zero nation. That's
great. So once we actually become a net zero nation, are you guys going to talk about growing the economy? How about that?
And with both votes SNP, we can go even further. Our emissions targets are already the most ambitious in the world, and we'll show that leadership on the global stage when we... That's
great. Oh, you're such a... Kim Jong-un is really praising you over there in North Korea. Says you guys are doing a great job.
Post-COP26. We'll invest £500 million to tackle the biodiversity crisis.
The biodiversity crisis, God, I was wondering about when they were going to get around to that.
restore Scottish peatlands.
Oh, that's massive as well. How are you going to grow the economy?
And we will raise our tree planting targets by 50%.
Well, at least they're starting to listen to me, which I've been obviously saying plant more trees, correct? There is nothing fair about policies. That's right, Marion. There is no political talent within the SNP. That's correct as well. Not selected for political talent, but gender. I don't think it's just gender. I think it's just abstract. I mean, this is. Don't forget they're SJWs. So it's not about talent. It's about just if you're part of a group. It's not who's the best person to lead this. I'm not for discriminating for or against anybody of a specific group, but I would discriminate based on, is this person talented? And that's the thing. If it wouldn't have to be balanced. It would just have to be the best person. If that was a group of me and a whole bunch of women, then I would be quite happy with that as well. Laugh Alive, 14 years power, and they can't get it right. No, they're not going to get it right. But to choose from no talent to somebody who sex is correct, is balance the numbers is wrong. That's right, Mike. Of course it is. Of course it is. Of course it is. And they're under. It's not even that's a secondary issue. You're not correct. You are correct. But it's still a secondary issue. The primary issue, the problem they've got is that this is a Marxist agenda. This is a communist Marxist agenda. Anti your personal liberties, anti your freedoms, and for them to start dictating more and more of what goes on in Scotland.
The deposit return scheme will improve recycling and reduce litter.
Well, as I said, I'm all in favour of recycling. I think it's very important that we recycle more as well, rather than putting it to landfill. I don't see any point in burying things that we've actually excavated as well. So I support that.
We'll decarbonise 1 million homes by 2030.
Okay, I don't disagree with that.
2024, all new homes and buildings will only use renewable or zero emissions heating.
That's okay, I'm on side with that.
And we'll deliver a transport revolution too.
Oh yes! Oh yeah, so you're going to use millions of pounds to renationalise the railways. Oh fuck that, that's going to be great. How's that going to make us any money? All that money to buy back the thing that's been privatised again could be spent on actually developing businesses. Oh no, I've got a great idea. We'll renationalise the railways so that we can be incompetent at running the railways as we're incompetent as everything else. Great! Oh, what a fantastic idea.
Creating a greener, publicly owned railway service.
Oh, a greener? Is it? It's going to be painted green? Oh, fantastic. Mums are useless will be delighted at that. Oh, great.
Remove fossil fuel buses.
Oh, not the fossil fuel buses. Well, I mean, obviously that's a good thing. I don't disagree with that anyway.
And we'll provide free bikes for school-aged children.
Free bikes for school-aged children. Oh, my good.
Children who couldn't otherwise afford them. Because together we must and we will build back greener. So for world-leading climate action, make it both votes SNP.
Yeah, both votes, thank. Right, listen, I'm going to come back here at 10:30. And, oh no, let's go. Let's see. A couple of pages here. Our manifesto, and you, using self-selection section, you can discover our key policies for your region, Highland. All right, you can just click on it. So, all right, okay. I'll have to go through this individually then. So, I'm going to call it a day just now. I'm going to get something to eat because I'm starting to get a bit trippy. And they won't be happy till we're using horses. So we'll come back to this as well. Laugh at Under Sturgeon will be fired up. So I'm going to come back on at 10 o'clock, troops. 10:30, 10:30. Give me a couple of hours so I can establish myself. And I'll do pages 15 to 30. I'll probably come back on in the morning. 30 to 45, 45 to 60. And then I'll do 5. So I need to do 5 on the crap manifesto. So yeah, I'll be back on 10:30 tonight. Come back and keep me company, and I'll do it to 12:30. Thanks guys, thanks for tuning in. Love you guys, love my baby gorillas. 10:30 back here, let's go. Love you guys.